Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here this morning for the next hour. So let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Pamela Klaba. I'll be your MC and the moderator for this session today. So we are just really, really privileged and honored to have you joining us this morning out of your busy time and your busy schedules. So we will kick off. So really the purpose of today's session is really to do a public briefing of the South African Workplace Equality Index, which is really the official launch by the LGBT plus Management Forum of South Africa. And the expected audience for this session, we really welcome everyone that has joined us. Really the target is HR and DIB specialists and practitioners, the ERG leads from the different sectors of our economy, the EXCO sponsors for the companies that are participating and that will also participate, the CEO, the boards, the SMEs, the NGOs, government departments, all type of employers, because really this is a critical much needed dialogue at this time where we are in our country as far as inclusion is concerned. Really the official launch of the South African Workplace Equality Index 2026 is really to unpack the framework and the roadmap and more employers to register and start within the 60-day window of this process for 2026, which started on the 26th of September and closes on the 14th of November. Thank you so much. So just in terms of our agenda, but before we get into the agenda, just some house rules. Just please mute yourself while you're in the call. We'll have some time towards the end of the session for Q&A where you can then unmute and ask the questions. You are also more than welcome to post some comments, input, and questions onto the chat, which will continuously monitor and make sure that your questions and input are highlighted at the end of the session. If we do not get through all the questions, we will then record them via email and then we'll get the representative of the organization to respond afterwards via email to all the attendees. Thank you so much. So this session is recorded and we've got a full packed agenda for the next hour. We will kick off with our Honourable Deputy Minister from the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities. So just to make sure that, you know, she sets the tone for us in terms of the purpose, as I've highlighted, of this session, and also why LGBT plus inclusion matters for workplaces, for the economy, and for the society at large. So with that, you know, I would really like to humbly welcome our Honourable Deputy Minister to take the stage and take us through really what she would like to unpack as far as the South African Workplace Equality Index process for 2026. Over to you, Honourable Minister.
Greetings to you, Program Director. Let me also greet Kelly Mabe and the team. Let me also greet, I see the co-chair of the National Task Team, Sbonelo Ngangana Troa. I do see colleagues who join from different institutions, including Mamba Online, officials from government, leaders of business, industry, civil society representatives, as well as fellow South Africans. Of course, today we gather for a moment of profound significance, the launch of the 2025-2026 South African Workplace Equality Index, and it goes live for this most important milestone, institutional milestone, but most importantly, it's also not just a moral declaration. It is a signal to our nation and to the world that South Africa will not waver in its institutional promise that every person, regardless of who they are or who they love, must live, must work, and must thrive with dignity. Today, we move from intent to implementation thereof. South Africa is one of the most progressive constitutions in the world. It guarantees equality, it prohibits discrimination, and it promises dignity for all. Yet we know that rights on paper are not always rights in practice. Of course, the SAWEI is the tool that bridges that gap. It tells employers across this land, do not only declare your values, show us your evidence. Show us how you hire, how you pay, how you promote, and how you protect. Because rights on paper mean nothing if they do not translate into the lived experience of workers at their desk, at their offices, at their factories, and also in their shop floors. But we know we are here because the statistics are sobering. They are not necessarily what we are looking for. Studies show that only about 14.9% of gender non-conforming LGBTI individuals in South Africa are in a paid labor force, compared to 46.4% of gender-conforming heterosexual individuals. Those who do not find work, and they earn on average 30% less than their peers. The national survey shows that while 3/4 of LGBTI people reported some form of employment, many face precarious and unequal conditions, especially when you are Black, when you are transgender, and when you are gender non-conforming person. So in an economy already burdened by unemployment that is above 30%, with women carrying an even heavier burden, this exclusion is so much devastating. It means creativity, innovation, and potential are systematically undervalued and wasted. That means we are not tapping on the potential and the value and the brilliance of LGBTI people. It means that the constitution protection or constitutional protection has not yet translated into economic dignity for LGBTI people. This is why SAWEI matters. It takes the commitment in our constitution, in the National Development Plan, in the Presidency priorities, in the priorities of many organizations that strive for economic justice. It takes it to full participation, safety, decent work, youth pathways, disability access, and of course, to prevent gender-based violence and hate crimes. And it translates them into operational behaviors that employers can implement and measure. Intersectionality must be our anchor in this. This index does not isolate LGBTI people from the wider transformation agenda. Rather, it recognizes that queer exclusion is tied to the same structural forces that disadvantages women, youth, and persons with disabilities. The struggle for LGBTI dignity is bound up with the struggle for gender equality, for economic access, for the rights of persons with disability, and for freedom from gender-based violence and hate crimes. None of us are free until all of us are totally free. And we know that it's not enough to count numbers. Representation alone does not make a workplace inclusion. We must move beyond token figures and statistics towards qualitative inclusion, creating culture of belonging, of safety, of affirmation. The SAWEI is about more than showing that a certain percentage of LGBTI people are present in the workplace. It is about ensuring that when they are present, they are respected, advanced, celebrated, and safe. It is about ensuring that workplaces are not simply diverse, but truly inclusive in a daily practice. SAWEI is practical. It's going to give us credible and evidence light. Employers answer short questions. They will provide simple evidence like screenshot or logs and receive a confidential inside report with a short list of actions. Public recognition is optional, of course. It is a tool to help organizations, not to punish them. It will give employers a roadmap to build safe workplace, fair hiring practices, and inclusive culture. This is really about transformation. Now, as government, we cannot ask of others what we are not willing to do ourselves. We are employers too. South African public service is the single largest employer in the country, with over 1.3 million people on its payroll across national and provincial departments. So if the public service mainstreams SAWEI principles, the ripple effects will be profound. We must have deliberate discussions on how to utilize this index within the public service so that the state models the value it proclaims. So that means, SAWEI team, you have a task to meet up with our public service administration to ensure that we mainstream, we integrate the very same principles so that we can have that ripple effect and we'll have that profound outcome.